Aisha by Yumna Al-Arashi, published by Frey. One of my favorite texts is an essay by Audre Lorde titled Uses of the Erotic as Power, published in 1978. It's one of those texts which gives you faith in language and art. A text which encapsulates a feeling or a belief that you didn't even know resisted within you. In it, Lorde describes a theft of the erotic. Lorde defines the erotic as an assertion of the life force of women, of that creative energy empowered, the knowledge and use of which we are now reclaiming in our language, our history, our dancing, our loving, our work, our lives. She describes the way in which the erotic, down to the world itself, has been vilified, suppressed, and made unworthy by a world made to oppress women. When I think about the tattoos of the women I have photographed, I think about the many unique stories behind them. I think about women's relationship to their bodies and the ways in which we have always expressed ourselves, and the numerous ways in which we are told not to. The women reminded me of the inherent knowledge shared within each and every one of our physical bodies, and the various manifestations of that knowledge, realized or not. For weeks, I traveled through Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, and listened to women's stories about their tattoos. Similar themes were often repeated: symbols to protect their families and homes from negative energies or evil spirits, or an honoring of Fatima, the Prophet Muhammad's daughter. Some described their tattoos as devotions to the cosmos, the sun, the moon, the stars. Furthermore, the recollection of important moments in life: first menstruations, marriage, love affairs, children, astrological readings, divorce, death. Some simply got tattoos because they thought they were beautiful. Still, I often heard that these tattoos were something of an ignorant past. It was almost as though the thought was mirrored directly from colonial archives to within the communities themselves. I was puzzled by the connection that a lack of literacy of these women and those before them often meant that their cultural practices were backward. This same reasoning has so often been the justification for invasions or means of mass control. I have seen this reasoning used as a gateway for impositions of colonial practices, capitalism and movements to big cities, and even the Islamization of the region. And in turn, the connection to our bodies and the earth at large has become drastically distant. When, then, does literacy fit into the world we live in when we globally have lost our connection to the earth? I began to see these tattoos, these symbols, as a language and a literacy in themselves, which was vilified and then traded in for another seemingly overnight. The desire to define these tattoos on behalf of these women only replicates the removal of agency from each individual's story. Instead, I celebrate not knowing because these stories are theirs. These makings are their celebration of their individual lives, in whatever ways they played out. To define, categorize, or uncover would only be to perform a violent act, which stems from the patriarchal, colonial, and Western desire to unravel a group of people. The tattoo is a visual symbol that represents an individual and unique sacred history based on sensory knowledge. Similar to memory, it preserves and organizes past experiences based on emotional connections to graphic images, rather than logical interpretations. In its essence, the practice in itself becomes an expression of the erotic, unbound by the left brain logic, immune to the violence of categorization. When I think of the practice of learning about my great-grandmother's tattoos in a Western institution, I think of the book. Language and the book are a way for us to structure our perception of the world, and often that perception is problematic, violent, careless. The stories we tell in this world are powerful, and the images that accompany them have been the most fascinating to me in this lifetime so far, whether I like it or not. My experience on this journey that I have shared now has crisscrossed so much within my life that it's becoming dizzying. But one thing remains clear. The image has been and continues to be a violent tool that has caused pain and suffering to my ancestors and now to me. And yet, I love the image, and I make images too. The tattoo on my great-grandmother's face was imprinted in my memory, but consistently resisted the photograph. These tattoos are elusive but familiar all at once. They are expressive and yet unrevealing. They are codes untranslatable. There is a tattoo which you can see and a defiance which you will never grasp. My great-grandmother's tattoo tattooed me. My great-grandmother's tattoo evaded the physical memory of her. Like the way she moved in space, the touch she used to show her love, the rhythm to her belly bouncing from laughter. They belonged to her, to those who knew her. They were our gifts. The deep need to honor a tradition in a manner of respect became and remains my priority. This project all at once became a reclamation and a form of resistance to translation. With consent, with respect, with gratitude, I photographed these women and their tattoos. Nothing more, nothing less.